Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Hip Hop Mike live from the crib. It has been a crazy couple of days. I mean, we are in the middle of something that I don't think any of us have ever seen before. I appreciate y'all being here though on the YouTube. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. And today I have a special guest, a good friend of mine. God has been hustling a long time, has a clean haircut, clean music out, and is making all the right moves. My man, Noble.
Yes, sir. Shout out to you. Mike. Thank you for having me on this interview. I really appreciate you.
Much love, bro. I don't even know. So do you just go by Noble or do you go by Noble Lyfe? Like, what's the official?
I mean, my official name is Noble Lyfe, and the reason why that is because I mean, if you're a hip hop historian, some people know there was like a Kid Noble. There's like a couple different nobles that have made a name for themselves. So more times than not, nobody just be like Noble Lyfe. They just be like Noble, or they be like Noble because it's a Future song. But my official name is Noble Lyfe, just to stamp that like I'm different. You know what I mean? This is my full thing, Noble Lyfe. So yeah, that's my full name, but you can just call me Noble. That's about it.
No doubt. All right. Well, I mean, I've always known you as Noble, and I've watched you evolve, man, like crazy over the years. I mean, not just on the health tip. I know you're super in shape right now.
You talking about physical right now? Like, I was about to
Physical and musically, man. Like, I mean, across the board, I've just watched you go from a kid, I think, that just loved music and kind of just was doing records with his friends to becoming this guy that's like a machine when it comes to just promoting music, pushing music, creating music. And then to add the physical element, I mean, we're not going to spend so much time on it, but I know the struggle is super real and like it's a roller coaster of ups and downs. So to follow through on things like that while following through on music is, you know, a personal challenge, man.
I almost think it goes hand in hand. Like people say it all the time, like the mind and the body is connected. It's crazy because if you think back, you said I've made a transition even musically. If you think back to when I really started going hard or just like getting a lot better at this, it went hand in hand with my physical transformation. I feel like I'm at my peak physically and mentally. So when I got my body right, it helped me get my mind right as well and really focus in. Because it's all about discipline. You feel me? That's what it was. I was like, yo, if I can make these changes and like stick to it and say, I'm going to change my body, I'm going to make this happen. Me seeing myself being able to do that made me feel like, you know what, if I had that same mentality with music, it may not be as quick, it may not be as fast, but it's literally the same thing. All you have to do is be consistent. You feel me?
That's a fact.
That's how I felt about my physical change and then how it kind of went to music.
And I think it's important to kind of take yourself out of comfort zones. Like if you could be uncomfortable and, you know, go to the gym every day, challenge yourself in that way, you're going to put that much effort into certain things in music that, like, for example, I don't love sitting here promoting YouTube videos and doing certain things all day, but it's like,
100%.
It complements things that I do love, you know? So it's like the discipline and that discomfort, I think being able to persevere through that says a lot about your character as a person and an artist.
Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. Like people think it's funny because now that I'm fit, people feel like I just love working out. That shit still
it never is fun.
I still want to quit. And sometimes, you know, when I'm like super promoting a song or I'm in a session and things aren't recording right, like you want to just be like, fuck this. But at the end of the day, like you realize what it takes to really do this shit at a high level. And it takes nothing short than like extraordinary behavior, attention to detail, you know, planning, all that shit. Like it just, you know, obviously, like you said, when I was a kid, I'm just making music for fun. Like you just kind of think this shit happens. Like you make a hot song, man, that shit gonna go like, nah, that's not.
It doesn't work like that.
And this shit happens by accident, so you gotta like work really fucking hard.
What was the tipping point for you on both levels? I should ask, because you know everybody kind of goes through these ups and downs, and at a certain point, I think something clicks. Was there like an instance? Was it the song taking off?
So, it's crazy because like I would love to just say, you know, one day I woke up and I felt like because the truth is I always did want to be successful in music. I was trying to lose weight for like 3 years. People see me in the gym every now and then, but one day I woke up and I think what happens is much like, you know, and we're gonna talk about this later, what's happening today, there's always like a tipping point. There's one big, there's an instance that says this has been boiling up, let's make this change. So for me particularly, I was dating a girl for about 2.5 to 3 years, and it was just a really messy breakup. And I just, at that moment, I remember telling myself, I was like, yo, this can't be my story. Like, I can't let, you know, this relationship that I had, no matter whose fault or why it ended or whatever the case may be, I can't let that be what I'm about. You feel me? Like I've been letting, it's just like when something dramatic like that happens to you, especially when you're with somebody for years or just any dramatic thing, it makes you look in the mirror, like literally,
Yeah.
figuratively. And I was just like, bro, like there's so much things about myself that I'm not satisfied with right now. And let me take this opportunity, which is a big shift in my life that's very uncomfortable. Why don't I just continue to be uncomfortable? You know what I mean? Like, why don't I just pushing myself to work out is not equivalent to what I'm feeling right now, whatever sadness, whatever the case may be. So this is the perfect time. So it sucks to say that it had to be a breakup or whatever the case may be, but just
Well,
different things push you in different ways. And at that moment, that's when I told myself, like, listen, I'm gonna lose this weight. My goal weight is 180. I'm gonna get to 180. I'm gonna boss the fuck up. I'm gonna be one of the hottest artists in the world at one point. I'm not sure if it's gonna be tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's gonna be next week, but I'm gonna put the work in so that I'm not gonna look back 20 years from now and be like, yo, I wish I would have. You feel me?
yeah, no, you got to be satisfied with your efforts. And I think no matter what it is that gives you the tipping point, I mean, something like that, it worked for me personally also, man. I think there's something about relationship ending that could motivate you to either want to be the best version of yourself or in the opposite direction. And I think at a certain point, you know, you try one way, but, you know, maybe the gym isn't always comfortable. Maybe it's not always fun. Maybe you don't know what you're going to get from it, but just trying something different is like worthwhile when you've tried the same, you know, the other way so many times and it doesn't go through.
I agree. I can't agree more. Like you've been doing these things your whole life and it's not working. What's the worst that can happen from making yourself uncomfortable? You're not killing yourself, literally.
That's
You know what I
it.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
just try and be a little more disciplined when it comes to the gym. Try and be a little more disciplined when it comes to nutrition. We're not saying do it overnight, but it's like the first step is making the conscious decision and say, I need to change my life.
Yeah, that's
Just
it. So, I mean, when you made this conscious step, what was the first contribution musically from that? Like, was it Too Cute?
Yeah, so it was Too Cute. What's funny is I had Too Cute recorded, but much like everything in my life at this time, I was being so hesitant for everything. Like, it's crazy because I was being hesitant with putting out music, promoting it, just because like I kept thinking like I just gotta wait till the perfect time. And it's crazy, like I said, everything online. Same thing with my weight loss. I was trying to lose weight so much time, but then I was just like, oh, I don't have time for the gym. I don't have time to do this. Once I started to make time for the things that matter to me, I was like, bro, like at the end of the day, you never know, how things are going to unfold. Tomorrow isn't always promised. You feel me?
Sure.
Things that you thought would last forever might not last forever. The relationships that you have with people might not be there. You need to attack while the iron's hot. You got to do shit now. You feel me?
Yeah.
And as I started to lose weight and just I was like, yo, fuck this. I'm going to just start dropping music. So I had already been like dropping music more than lately, like tail end of 2019. But then I was just like coming into the new year, I opened up for Favi and Pop Smoke, rest his soul. And then, I had another show coming up with Sleepy Hollow, and I was just doing a lot of good things. And I was like, yo, while I have all this traction going, I already had a plan in my head. I was like, yo, I'm going to drop Too Cute. I'm gonna get this project ready. I'm gonna have a couple singles, and I'm just gonna keep putting out music. So during the time of me working out, what I will say is that my work ethic increased insurmountably as far as recording music, because my problem was I always never had a lot of music recorded. During that whole workout period, shout out to my cousin Dre right now, I was going to his house every single weekend recording 3 to 4 songs every single, like I literally
Dre's a
had,
monster.
yeah, I literally have like 3 EPs in the cut, like, you feel me, due to
Hey.
just me being so inspired during that time, you feel me? Like I just felt like that was the time. Even till this day right now, it's just I'm like in my prime, not saying I'm gonna go down, like I'm gonna keep, like I'm entering it, you feel me? And that's how I really feel. So yeah, the first step was releasing Too Cute because it was already recorded, but like I said, I was just being hesitant, and then I just recorded a shit ton of extra music.
Why Too Cute? What was it about that record that made you want to pick that one to go with?
Well, just from like being an artist and being smart and seeing what's going on, I was very aware of TikTok. I have a good friend of mine by the name of Gas, who his song was actually going crazy on TikTok at the time, and he ended up signing and stuff. So I saw what was happening. Like I was like, oh, there's this new app, TikTok, and it's another way to promote your music. And I started watching the videos on there. And it's funny because if you listen to Too Cute, you'd be like, this is a TikTok song. But I created that before I even knew what TikTok was. But at the time, I was like, this is the perfect song to go with next, because I feel like it would fit really well with like people are doing right now. And also it's just a funny way of, it's crazy how the universe works. Like they say you think things and then it happens. Too Cute is like whether people realize or not, it's about self-love and self-empowerment. Even though I'm just talking my shit, it really, that's what the message is. Like, you feel me? Like, I feel like I'm the shit. And that started to happen as I was losing weight. You feel me? But it's funny because I made that song beforehand. It's almost like I had to tell myself that to believe it. So it's crazy how, like, once I started actually doing it, I was like, obviously it felt like divine intervention. I was like, this is obviously the song that needs to come out because that's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, well, it naturally happens. I believe that it naturally happens, man, when you make space for, like, you know, certain energies to come into your life, especially by just having these good habits. Things are going to happen in ways that they kind of mesh and sync with each other, that you don't have to put so much effort, but it could just be organic. And I think that's where the best results come from. I'll say this too. I respect you making that ballsy move, because opening up for people like Pop Smoke, Favi, Sleepy Hollow, big up Sleepy Hollow. I actually have my guy is coming on, or he's on the show. Y'all can check for that interview, like and subscribe in the comments, blah, blah, blah. But Bobby Fischer, Sleepy Hollow's A&R, was on here dropping gems last week. Y'all can check for that. But I was going to say, I appreciate you. Listen, I've been watching hella YouTube tutorials, and they say in the middle of every video, make sure you tell people to like and subscribe, check for other videos. And I just had Bobby Fischer, an A&R from Empire, who's Sleepy Hollow's A&R, on literally yesterday. So that should be out now, and then y'all can check for that, as well as everything Noble's talking about, which will be in the comments. But my point is that, you know, opening up for guys like that, I think would naturally put an artist in a place where it's like, okay, this is the kind of world I'm in. This is the realm that I'm going to appeal to. Let me try and fit this mold. And to have your own identity, but still be on the same stage, I think says a lot. And I mean,
and like, you can see it in the crowd, like, because I'm a performer. I know a lot of rappers, like, they just get on there, and not to, like I said, like, a lot of rappers are new to being a performance artist, period, right? Yeah. So for me, I know how to, like, interact with the crowd, but I can see the difference between the two openers before me and me, and then everybody else. Like, just crowd reaction, even though the crowd doesn't know my music, just like sonically, it's something different. And like I said, I think it's super dope that we can be from the same neighborhoods, have around the same people, but like, I don't think you should just replicate what's hot. Like, don't get me wrong, I have songs that can sound in that lane, but with me, and just even the whole thing, going back to like the project that I'm releasing, Shuffle, the whole concept behind it is basically, it's being played as if it's on shuffle. You're getting all different types of sounds. Because for me personally, I wouldn't say it's hard to, but I'm so diverse that I don't really want to just make one sound of music. So that's what Shuffle is. It's a collection of songs that sound like it can be from different artists. That's definitely in different lanes, but it's all me. So that's how that whole concept rolls out. And I just feel like keeping my brand and staying consistent with that is important. So that's why I can go on stage where Pop and Fabi's performing whatever, and perform a song like Too Cute, and the crowd still goes crazy. You feel me? Because it's like, they can tell you're being genuine with your energy and what you're presenting to.
For sure. I think it has a uniqueness to it. And like, even just you as an individual, like seeing you in certain rooms, certain crowds, you stand out. Like, you're not a dude that I feel like is hard to approach. You're very friendly. You definitely are dripped up. Like, you know, so you have a presence about you that's already attracting people. And then when you complement that with the music, I mean, it goes a long way. You're a dude also that, you know, when it comes to describing you as an artist, there's very few people that I could like really compare just the aesthetic or the vibe or anything to. I mean, the only person that really comes to mind is like Don Tolliver, maybe. And I feel like even for somebody like him, he's a dude that's just like so impactful because he's around these guys that have this mainstream radio sound, but is just so different and unique and sounds so like authentic in his own right, that you talk to a guy like Travis Scott and he's going to say that Don is one of his favorite artists because of things like that. So the fact that you approach it in a way that's so unique and then complements it with, like, you know, he does with that Texas vibe, but you still have that New York swag to it, I think is really special, man.
Yeah, no, it's dope. I think every artist should try and, you know, figure out what is unique to them, let it flow naturally. And if you do, then you're going to come out with some dope shit. So
that's it. And that's what it's about, man, is just being authentic. 100%. How did you run up this TikTok crazy? Because I mean, you say you weren't familiar with it when you first like had come up with the record and then had the idea to push it. How does somebody take steps like that? I mean, you don't have to give me your marketing plan, but like, is it just constantly reaching out to people? Is it like hashtags?
I feel like an artist in today's world, you almost have to be a businessman as well. So me personally, I know a lot of artists don't do this, but I do a lot of research. I low-key, and I want to say lucky because everything happens for a reason, but my little brother is like TikTok famous. So he has about 900,000 followers on there. So it's crazy because when I was thinking of releasing this, I was reaching out to my friend Gasp. I was like, yo, how'd you get all these people to do all these things to your song? Like, I was being inquisitive naturally. And he was like, hey, my manager knew this influencer, and it kind of just took off, and this, then, and the third. Like, I was just doing a lot of research, trying to figure out if, is TikTok paying artists directly? Like, how does it really work? So I was just doing a lot of research. But in the mix of all of this, my little brother, he's an actor. He went to New York Film Academy, but he also likes to do skits. And I would always tell him, me and my manager, Vance, we were like, bro, you should get a TikTok, because this type of content is like, it's not on TikTok right now, because you're doing like full like skits. They don't really do that on TikTok, but the audience, I feel like, would really like your content. So he downloaded it. His first video he ever posted got 60K, and then he would just post little videos, and then he went viral off of one video. Overnight, it got 2 million views, and then he took off from there. So he was actually the first person. Like, even if you go to the sound to this day, I think he might have been overtaken as the most popular video by a girl named Sarah Madusara. She's like a really big TikToker. She did a dance to it, so she's probably the biggest video. But prior to that, he's definitely the second biggest video. It has like 2 to 3 million views. He was the first person to come up with the Too Cute challenge, do a Too Cute dance, period. And that was just off of love, because like, obviously I'm his bigger brother and he's a fan of the music.
Yeah.
But it's crazy when you look out for other people, even if he wasn't my brother, just me pushing him to like make a TikTok and constantly release content. That's what artists don't understand. It's like, if you're genuine and you help other people, you never know when somebody could be tomorrow. You feel me?
It comes from
really, that made me be able to get millions of streams on TikTok with my song, just pushing my brother to do his own shit.
No, I love it, man. And like, I mean, I had a conversation with DDG maybe a couple months ago, and we were talking about just how he built the YouTube, because I've been trying to build this platform, and it's like, it's super complicated. And one of the things he said is like, it's not just him. He's like, he has his little sister on it. His mom does something on it, and really bringing the whole family together. They're all winning. They all individually have their own brand and their own thing to push. But like, certain things complement one another. And like, it's not like your brother does music too, where it's like, it hurts for you to promote his acting as much as he could promote your songs. And I think, bouncing back and forth like that does a lot, not just for like your organic traction, but I'm sure in the algorithm also. It's like,
100%.
So that's dope, man. You get in sync and things start moving. You got to tell me more about Shuffle. We can't just shuffle over it.
No, for sure. So like I was saying, so Shuffle is a project that will be dropping on June 9th. I have a lot of things going on surrounding it. I have a live listening party on IG Live June 8th at 8 p.m. I'm going to be doing that at Beach House Records. That's where I will be playing the album.
Shout out to Polo.
From Long Island. Shout out to Polo for letting me use the space, and you guys definitely know what that is. But Shuffle is a project for me for a long time. I was making a lot of different type of records. I was just recording. Like I said, I was just in a zone. And shout out to my producer, Oscar. Like, he's such a good producer, and he sends me a lot of different things. So I was recording, and I was like, I have all these different songs. I can make probably three to four different projects. But all of these songs don't sound the same. And like, each project is gonna sound different. But I was like, that's not really me. Like, I can make so much different type of music. And I know as artists, we've been kind of taught to just like come up with a sound or corner a lane and just kind of like stick to it. But all of the artists I look up to are super diverse and are never afraid to push boundaries. So I was just kind of like, yo, I feel like when I listen to my music, like I was literally listening to my music just in my media, and I was like, yo, this sounds like it's on shuffle. Like, it doesn't sound like you're listening to a project by one artist. It doesn't sound like you're listening to like one genre. It sounds like you put your songs on shuffle and you're just like enjoying yourself. So I was like, that's a dope concept. Like, I looked it up. I didn't really see anybody else do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick to that. And that's what I want to be about. I want to be about, just being diverse, doing what the fuck you want to do. And I was like, it's crazy because like I have a song like Too Cute, and then my next song was Laughing to the Bank. That's like a complete turnaround from that. So then when I did that, I was like, nah, this is what I'm going with. I'm gonna do shuffle 1. I have a shuffle 2, and then I'm finishing up a shuffle 3, and that's gonna be like my repeat of projects. So the first shuffle is coming out on June 9th in all stores. And we're definitely gonna speak about this later, but I want people to know for the pre-orders and for the first month of money that I make off that project is gonna all be donated. So I'll speak about the causes and different things like that later. But yeah, so Shuffle is actually just a project. It's a compilation of different songs that I've made over this past couple months. And every song can stand on its own. It's like every song's like a single almost, you know what I mean? But together it sounds dope. it's definitely probably the best piece of work I've put together.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. June 8th is obviously a day that I don't think anybody could have expected to be not just a quarantine, but there's also like riots happening, there's protesting happening.
It's
Was
crazy, bro.
any of this, I mean, obviously, I think the protests and the rioting caught everybody by surprise, but was anything involving the quarantine worked into the plan for releasing this? Because
So, yeah, no, for sure. It's just it's so crazy that you're saying this, because at first when I was thinking about putting out this project, quarantine hadn't even happened yet. I was just recording music. I was like, yo, this shuffle idea was dope. But then in the beginning of quarantine, I was very discouraged. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, should I be putting out music? Because everybody's kind of putting out music because they feel like everybody's inside. It's just like an oversaturation of content. And then one day I was like, you know what, fuck it, bro. I'm putting Shuffle together for June. So obviously we didn't know any of these riotings and things would happen, but I did know there would be a pandemic. So behind that, I was like, you know what? I'm definitely going to do like a Zoom listening party. I'm definitely going to probably put together a concert because everybody can be online, you know, because a lot of my fans aren't from New York, you know, even though I'm from New York, a lot of my friends are from all, like, my biggest two listenings in the United States is Chicago and LA. So for that, it's like if I was doing a show out here, they wouldn't be able to come. But if I'm doing it online, they could. So I definitely worked in the Instagram listening session into the whole idea of there being a pandemic and social distancing. And then also I was working on, you know, the whole Zoom concert idea. But as far as the riots and everything like that, obviously it's so easy to forget that, you know, America is racist when it's not in your face every day, you know? Like it takes, like, even though we've been through Eric
crazy
Garner,
in your face every day. Like that's what's messed
yeah,
up. It's like, but
exactly.
people don't.
Even if it's in your face every day, it's so easy to forget or not be like reactive about it every day, because like there's so many every single day problems that people deal with, you know. But then when you see something like that happen with George Floyd, it's not that instance that's making all of that happen. It's the accumulation of anger, fear, pain, and all of these other emotions that people across America are feeling. So as far as those like affecting my release, I definitely haven't thought, I'd never like added anything into that about that until recently. Like I said, I'm going to be donating, you know, my first month's, whatever I make off this project within the first month, definitely is going to be going to, you know, the George Floyd Memorial Fund. There's also a lot of different freedom funds going around. I know there's one for Minnesota, but even if there's one for New York, because people are rioting and looting in New York now. So it's like, I definitely just want to be, I genuinely, and this is not for every artist to do, me personally, I feel like I'm a servant of the people. I feel like it is my obligation as an artist to be socially conscious, especially when a large majority of the people who listen to my music are people who are going to be affected by this type of shit. You feel me? Like, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for, you know, Black people, the streets, and just anybody that's going through a struggle. I wouldn't be here today. So I do feel like it is my responsibility to be socially conscious and do what I can do to, you know, help the situation. So that's why I'm doing things like this Zoom benefit concert that's coming up, and I'm donating, you know, the first month of the proceeds towards these different causes, because I feel, not because I feel like I have to, but it's because I feel compelled, like I feel responsible.
I think it's important, man. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday about it, and I feel like, you know, there's different ways to obviously show that you're down for the cause, different ways to really contribute and help people. But ultimately, it's like, and I know you know this. You're in Brooklyn. I mean, it's, I don't know how public knowledge that is, but in Brooklyn, it's like some of the worst that they're getting. I mean, there's cars being torched, there's buildings being looted. They boarded up an Apple store in Williamsburg, which is like not known for any sort of crime like that.
Literally.
Yeah, man. And just being from Brooklyn and being able to be somebody who's not just affected by it, but also living in it day after day. I mean, I've always said I think the best way to give back isn't necessarily being out in the streets, although it is powerful. I really believe that ultimately the money is what controls whatever we're able to kind
I think it's so important to just not focus on one aspect. Like you said, the people who are in the streets, they're there for a reason. That's their job. And we need people who are going to be violent. We need people who are going to be non-violent. We need people who are going to be non-monetarial and doing things. And then we need monetary support. Like revolution has always been, or successful ones has always been and will always be layered. You don't need, and I really hate this thing that we do too, where somebody feels like they're doing something that's in support of the revolution, but they're only praising their way of, protest. You feel me? Like, it needs to be done this way. Like, no, if you're nonviolent, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shit on all the people who are rioting at things. If you're rioting at things, that doesn't mean you shit on people for, signing petitions and posting on Instagram. Like, every single part of it is important. And when we realize that, then we're going to be able to be a united front and say, I'm willing to do this. He's willing to do that. He's willing to do that. She's willing to do that. Let's come together, because at the end of the day, it's all for the same goal, right? So I think that's the real important thing, is for everybody to realize, no matter what the next person's willing to do, it's very important towards the overall goal. So I definitely feel like, me being somebody who's an artist and has some influence, I have people who listen to me over the world that have no idea what's going on, but they might come to the concert and donate, and then I can use those proceeds towards that. You feel me? So I feel like it's my responsibility to use my influence in a positive way.
Nah, I mean, I respect the hell out of it, bro. Like I said, just to watch you evolve and grow, from day one. I mean, I feel like we met, 5-6 years ago? Like,
it doesn't even feel that long ago, bro. But facts.
But you're a dude, man, that I've always fucked with. I've always had a lot of respect for, and just to watch you evolve. I mean, even especially throughout this quarantine, bro, because I'll be honest, I was on the same time as far as like, just trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, keep your head clear, focus on goals. And this quarantine, for a lot of people, set them back. And I'm fortunate. I've had my ups and downs through it, but I've always come out on top, as far as just maintaining the diet and staying healthy. But once that gym shut down, man, it made it really difficult. And, for you to be focused on that while focusing on music, to see the results you're getting from TikTok, I mean, everything is organic. Like, I mean, you see an artist that does numbers like this, that's completely organic, that does it, from the ground up. And, for people that don't know, and for anybody in the industry watching this, how many artists actually work a job, support themselves, and contribute some money?
It's so crazy when people.
No joke.
Yo, it's crazy, because like the concept of shuffle goes everywhere to me, even in my life. Like, how many people just know me for different things, or I'm just like, I'm a different person to everybody. You feel me? Like, as far as what they know me or what they met me doing, like, it's crazy, because I feel like today, in order to be successful, like, you really gotta boss the fuck up. And I definitely bossed up in so many ways. Like you said, like, I'm doing so many things. I'm working a job. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So definitely is all things that is working towards the overall goal of just being self-sufficient and being successful and carrying out my vision.
For sure. Nah, I respect it, man. So June 8th is the day.
Yes, June 8th. So that's June 8th. It's basically the listening party for the project. And as soon as the listening party ends, the project will come out. So I had it done that way on purpose, because, you never know how much people might be in that IG listening party. I'm like, shuffle out now, go download that. Buy it on iTunes, stream it, wherever you want to stream it, whatever streaming service.
Marketing 101.
For anybody watching this who's an artist who wants to, do some things, man, just, keep your head on straight, do your research, and just stay true to yourself. And anybody who's watching that's like somebody in the industry and a businessman, holla at your boy. You see what I'm doing?
Oh man. Well, keep killing it, my brother. I appreciate you taking the time today. Anybody who wants to keep up can do so at Noble Lyfe, I believe it is.
At Noble Lyfe _. And like I said, I have a whole bunch of things coming up. It's definitely the IG listening party. It's definitely the project. But also, please stay tuned for the Zoom benefit concert that will be happening on June 13th. All of the proceeds will either go to supporting artists during COVID, or, like I said, with everything that's happening as far as the, the bail funds and the memorial funds. So if you just follow me on social media, you'll see me posting the flyers for that, and you guys will get information on how to donate and stuff like that.
For sure, man. Well, I'll be there for sure, and I appreciate.
Yes, sir. You got to turn up with us.
Make sure y'all keep up with this guy, and anybody in the industry that's on the A&R ish, make sure y'all holla at him before it gets too crazy, because I know that phone line's about to start blowing up.
You see what's going on, man. You see what's going on.
Noble, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, Noble Lyfe. Appreciate y'all.